Good morning. This is Peggy from the Sanders Library at the Central Arkansas Library System, and today we're going to do a program on quilling. Quilling is an ancient art. It's the best anyone can figure out studying the history of it is it started in the Middle Ages with the squires. You know, they would make their books and they would cut off the ends of the paper to make them even like we do now, and the nuns then would take those little strips of paper and they would roll them into different shapes, and they used that to make decorations for the books. Now, we can't really prove that because paper is not something that stays around a long time. It can be destroyed, so we don't really have full evidence of that, but that's what we think. And so then it kind of spread across all of Europe to the aristocratic ladies, and then on come to America with when everybody come over, you know, in the Pilgrims or whatever you want to call them. And so that really brought it to America, but then it kind of died out, you know, like art forms will, things change. But in the last, 30 years, it's really become popular again. And so I'm glad to share quilling with you today. There are some basic tools that you need for quilling. One thing about quilling is it is not an expensive hobby to do. It's not. There's a few things you need. One of those things is a quilling tool, and I know you can't see it, but it has a little slit in it. Let me take a little piece of paper and show you kind of how that works. You put it in your little slit and you just roll it up. And so you would roll your strip, take it off, and let it loose a little bit, and then you can pinch it into whatever shape you want. We're going to be using something that's called a marquee today, and I know you can't see that, but it looks like an eye, and that's what the others in the class tell me. It looks like an eye. Okay, so to help with that, if you need another hand, this is called a guard, and you can use it to kind of keep your strip from, going wonky. Okay, you'll need a ruler, and I like this ruler because it has the different holes in it, and so some of the shapes that let's say you're making a flower, you would want all your petals to be nearly the same size, so you would choose which side you want. Put your little roll in it, let it spread out, and so that they're all the same size. So I like that ruler, so it gives you that. Also, a tool that you can get if you're making a lot of things is an electric one. It has the same guard and split in it, but it's electric. I like that one when I'm doing big projects. Another thing that you will need, or comes in really handy, you don't have to have it, is tweezers, and especially these little needle nose kind of things, because if you've got real small projects, it's easier to move them around with this than it is your fingers. So that's something that you need. Also, you can use these onion combs, is what they're called, and this one was made for quilling, so it has numbers on it. You can get them different sizes, bigger or smaller. Well, probably not much smaller than this. But also, if you don't have one of these, it doesn't matter. You can use your comb that you use on your hair, and it works just as well. And I'll show you some samples of some things that we make with that. Okay, so just to go through quilling again, you make a tight circle, and you can leave it that. Some of the things that I'll show you have the tight circle, and then you can make the loose circle, and with that you can make a teardrop, the marquee, or the eye, and then you can take the teardrop and make a heart. And then there's scrolls. You can make S scrolls, or just a scroll, or a heart scroll, and these are the ones, basic ones, that you're going to use most of the time, with variations on all of them, but that's mostly what we use. Okay, so that's the tools that we need. Okay, I will tell you that I started out Oh, you also need glue. Now I have this little bottle of glue, and it's Elmer's glue, Elmer's craft glue. And I use this little bottle sometime, but also when I'm doing a big project, I will just pour some glue in this. It has a lid, a little plastic thing lid on it, and won't dry out. And I use a toothpick to dip my glue. One thing about glue is that you only need a little bit of glue to make paper. We're using these small strips of paper, so you only need a little dab of glue. If you've been in my class before, you know that that's one of my things I tell you all the time. If you get too much glue on this little strip of paper, then it's going to get wet and tear, all right? Or be sticky and you can't do anything with it. Okay, so you need the glue. But another important thing you need is paper. And so I've already showed you one strip. There are lots of sizes of paper. You can make little bitty tiny things. I bought some to make beads with, and it's so tiny I can't use it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm sure I'll find something. This paper is 1/8 of an inch. Paper comes in little bags like this, and sometimes it comes like this with all multiple colors. This is the bigger size, like we'll be using today, which is 5 millimeter, almost 1/4 of an inch. So if you cut your paper 1/4 of an inch, that will work. Okay, but I knew that we're at home, we can't go shopping, can't do that. Plus, it's just easier to find this stuff online than it is in the stores. Michael's online has it, Amazon has it, Walmart has some, but not a lot. Walmart won't have any in the stores, and I haven't been able to, at least in North Little Rock, find any at Michael's, but you can get all of that online. I order my supplies from Amazon just because it's they have what I want most of the time. There are other places that are just privately owned that do paper, and they are excellent too. One of them is Quilling.com, and they will have the sizes in more the what we're used to, the 1/8 of an inch and the 1/4 of an inch. Like I said, the 3 millimeter is 1/8 of an inch, just a little smaller, and the 5 millimeter is 1/4 inch, but just a tad smaller. But we don't all have paper because we don't all do quilling. So I went looking through the house. What could I find in my house I could use for paper? Well, I have this colored printer paper. Now, some of the very thin printer paper won't work, but if you can kind of swing it and it gives you a little resistance, then it probably will. I think this is a 24 count paper, if you have any idea what that means. Okay, and another thing I found, which was just the right size, was a little notepad. Okay, and what I really liked about this notepad was it has little dots in it, so I could cut it the same. Also, it's 3 inches, and 3 inches strips is what we need. So I cut enough of these to make an earring out of them. And I'll show you, this is the earring I made from that paper I just showed you. So I think it worked out as well as the one that I made from the strips that I bought. So I think it worked just as well. Another thing that I found around the house that would work is a brown paper bag. And it's just stiff enough, it's kind of thin, but it's just stiff enough that it rolls really well. And I've used brown paper bags for a lot of projects. And that's what the earring looks like. I think it is as neat as any of the others. So that's where that comes in. So we've got paper. Now I'll briefly show you some of the things that I've made. In our very first class, we made this, and the people that were in the class will tell you once they figured out what they were doing that it was not hard. I got started by ordering a kit on Amazon, and I know some of the people that have been in my class have also ordered it. And it has all these tools that I showed you. Everything you need will be in that kit. Okay, this is, I got this out of a book at the library, and that's how I got started. We got in a new book at the library on quilling, and I thought, oh, I want to try that. And so as you can see, it has the tight circles, and it has a variation of the I or the marquee in it. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. It's called a mandolin, and it's in a book about making mandolins. I also found this one in a book at the library. I think just about everything I'm going to show you today I found in a book at the library. And what this is just strips of paper with the curls on the end, and then I just glued them together. Some of them shorter than others, so they're all different shapes. And so I just layered them on. And I've been putting magnets on things so I can put them on my desk or on my refrigerator. I've got a whole line of cherries and grapes and apples and all that I've made out of quilling on my refrigerator. This one was also in one of the books that I found at the library. It's supposed to be a card, and I put it in a frame. And a lot of scrapbookers use quilling to decorate their pages, and so that works out really well too. And this is another one. It has the swirl, as you can see, and then it has other things. This also was in a book that I got at the library. And then more flowers, a daffodil, and so this is made out of one color and wrapped in another color. So that, again, another magnet. And this one was made with the comb. Remember the comb I showed you? This is made with the comb, and so it's a flower. I've seen angels made out of them, earrings. I didn't bring any with me today, but we made earrings using this technique for this. And also, these are earrings that were made with combs. I'll just go ahead and show you those. So those, I don't know if you can see them. I can't find my hand. There it is. All right. This one was used, remember I showed you the heart one, so you make one design and then you push it in here. And so that one, I'm going to put a stem on this one, so it has a little cap on the bottom. Okay, so that's some of the things that I have made using that. One of the things that I will talk to you about just a minute is the glue. Please feel free to use it like that. Sometimes if I don't want a big tub of it, I'll just pour some of it in a little glass bowl and use my toothpick to do that. Or use these to pick it up, dip it in it, especially if you're going to put it on a flat surface like this. So you want the glue on the back side of this, so you would just pick it up and do that. Okay, so that's what we have. So now we're going to start on making our earrings. So I'm going to need to adjust my camera so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'll be back in just a second.